Welcome back, everyone. All right, so let's go ahead and let's make a circular faucet. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to right click in here, push X to delete that, or delete. It's up to you. And we're going to go add in a cylinder, and we're going to add it in at the bottom here is 32 vertices. I think that should be good enough for this here. And there's several, I could make an hour tutorial series just on faucets, but for the most part, let's just go ahead and we'll just kind of move that out there. Just make it a little bit bigger, and we'll move that up. And we're going to scale this whole thing down in a minute here. But one thing we can do is we push E to extrude and E to extrude again. And what we can also do is, and maybe E to extrude just one more time. Okay. Now what we can also do is we can kind of use these here. And if we type in 7, and yeah, we want to make sure that these are selected, and you can kind of see them. We got 1, 2, 3 on the side of this red line, and you got 3 on the other side of this red line. So push 3, or you can actually push 1 on the numpad, of course, and you can go and you can add in a faucet here. Now this faucet is square, but it's actually really hard to get a second. It's actually much harder to get a second cylinder here. So I'm just going to deal with this for now because I think it actually looks pretty good. And if we really want to, we can kind of add in a little bit of an angle there. So again, if I just push in 1 here, and if you just, sometimes if you add in the slightest angle, it makes all the difference. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm actually going to do something here. I'm going to push E to extrude, right click, and scale this in here. And actually I'm going to scale it in quite a bit. And what I'm also going to do is I'm going to move it back like this. So we're going to have more of the faucet here. I'm going to E to extrude that here. And we can actually even move that here. We're going to go E to extrude. And we can kind of move that here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to rotate this along the y-axis. And I'm just going to say 90 degrees. Okay, and then here we go. We now have a kind of handle like that, which kind of looks cool. Okay, and I'm just going to push 1. And by the way, this gives us a flat 90-degree angle here for that. So that actually looks kind of cool. I think it actually looks pretty cool. And what I'll do is I'll actually expand this. No, actually, no, I'll keep it there. Push 1 again. E to extrude. Expand that up a bit. E to extrude. Expand that out. E to extrude. And I'm going to expand that in. And E to extrude. And I'm going to expand that right. Just kind of move it right there. So we got this kind of handle there if we want to. So this gives a really kind of basic flat circular faucet here. Looks pretty cool. Now let's go ahead and let's add in one more little tiny detail, and then we'll talk a little bit about what we can do to make it even better. Let's add in a loop cut, and I'm going to add in one here, a loop cut again, and I'm going to add in one here. All right, hop into face select, and actually I'm just going to select the inside ones like this. I'm going to push E to extrude, and then you can actually scale it out, but I want to scale it in, and that's where the water would come out. All right, so that looks kind of cool, and look at that. We got this cool little faucet here. Now, of course, if you want to actually move this, that's a whole other tutorial, and the reason is that and the reason why is that if you want to actually move this, you have to add in animations, you have to add in a whole bunch of bones, etc. In any event, let's hop back into object mode, and that actually looks kind of cool. It's not the most detailed model here, but it does work. You can add in 2 things. You can add in a subsurface division modifier, and that actually looks kind of cool. We'd have to play around at the bottom, of course. But I'm going to go ahead. That's not the one I'm looking for. I want the bevel one actually, and we're just going to go and we're going to add in the bevel here. And if we take a look, the bevel is, kind of, it's going to make it a little bit too intense. So I'm going to actually undo that here. So I think this is actually pretty good. Now, if you wanted to make this more detailed, I would go ahead and make a whole other faucet here. But instead of adding 32 vertices, so if we just tab into object mode here, and if we create a cylinder here, I would make this something more like 100, and that would make everything look a little bit nicer, but 32 is good enough for now. Last thing is you need to scale this whole thing down to the size of an actual faucet, something more like that. All right, I'll see you guys in the next tutorial.